Thunder E of Booredatwork is back on the podcast, but I do want to apologize real quick right on the outset for the few times that he might sound a little bit like a robot in this episode. I think there are so many connections going on all at once in that super connected apartment of his that some interference just occurred. Nonetheless, he does join me on this podcast to talk about the iPhone 11 line, as well as the Huawei Mate 30 Pro line. And as far as Huawei is concerned, we do ponder the question a little bit. Can Huawei survive without Google applications pre-installed on their phones? I want all of you to think about that as well, as that is your question for this episode. All right, so get into the comment sections down below, have that discussion, and as you're thinking of your answers to that question, why don't you go ahead and enjoy this episode with Thunder E of Booredatwork. I have a thought, and it's one that I'm actually really surprised that I have with this new batch of iPhones. Last year, when I got the iPhone XS Max, I have to admit, it was my least favorite phone of the year, mainly because of the size, and it just didn't seem to bring a whole lot to the table. I'm actually really excited to use this. This is the Pro, not the Pro Max. And I wanted to know what you thought, because my first inclination is, this is for the first time, I actually feel the need to have two phones, and for one of them to be an iPhone.
Oh, is that a question for me?
Yeah. So how do you feel about that notion?
Look, you know I'm not the biggest iPhone fan. So
yeah,
I will say that, yes, this year I am very impressed with the fact that they have finally caught up and leapfrogged in some aspects. Video quality is really good. But the iPhone video has always been good. So I think this is kind of them cementing on that. Low light photos, some people say it's better than the Pixel. I say no. I say it matches and sometimes beat the Galaxy Note, and the Note doesn't beat the Pixel. I think, and Pixel or Huawei, those are my top two, right there. But I like what they've done. I still have OS annoyances, which I'm waiting for Apple to fix. Like the camera. I want all the camera functionalities to be in the camera.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of people talking about that. That's for sure.
It's about time. But I've got both of them.
Oh, what do you mean both?
I've got Max
and
11.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get the Pro, the smaller Pro?
Why am I getting the smallest phone? Look at my hands. Dude, I don't care. What's wrong with you?
I hated the Max. I straight up hated the Max. Like I've gotten to the point now where I don't like very large phones. I see the benefit of them, but if I'm going to use this every day, and this is a phone I'm buying, I should be using it every day. I need a better experience. So
no, but I mean it's meant for everybody. Look, remember the early days of smartphones? It was for you guys, all you little hand people. And when the Galaxy Note came out, everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is kind of stupid." But what happened, right? Now we're in the big phone trend, but they're still making phones for everyone in sizes. So I mean, for me, sizes, it all depends on what you have. Just quick note: I do have the Razer Arctech case.
Oh, I didn't even recognize that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna plug my gaming channel, Board Gamer. I did a video on this. This actually does cool your device. So I did my gaming video yesterday on my channel, playing PUBG and other games, Apple Arcade. It gets about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Mm-hmm. That's how hot it gets. So maybe a little bit more, 101 or so. With this case, when you have the case on, it reads at about 93, 92, 93. If you take the case off and read it right after, it's about 94, 95 degrees. So it's about 95 degrees. So you're getting at least 5 to 6 degrees off.
Okay.
100. So
that's, what, you bring up an interesting point. Like the fact that a company like Razer is actually making gaming peripheral accessories for other smartphones. I mean, the Razer phone is probably not going to be a thing anymore. But yeah, that's the other thing that has me excited. Apple is still the ecosystem that gets the most third-party accessory support. And this is a perfect example. I'm still waiting for a couple of other accessories to be released and to come out. But that's a good one. That's a compelling one. I should check it out.
Yeah, you should. It's I first, when they told me they sent it, I was like, is it really going to work? But just looking at the temps for me, I'm like, if you're getting 5 degrees off, it's not a bad looking case. I mean, they do have various colors. The one from my Max is pink. This is what they sent me, and and then they've got pink, white, black, and one other color, I think. So at least a couple of colors that you can pick and choose from. They will also have for other Android devices next month, I think. So most likely like a Galaxy, the Razer Phone 2, because of course they want to at least showcase that. But quickly, I think this is an opportunity for Razer to start making accessories for mobile gaming, controllers, things like that. That would like to see more of that in the ecosystem.
I do have one of those, like the Raiju Mobile. It's somewhere in that pile of just everything that's come in. Like, it's so funny. Like, after going more or less solo in the tech space, I've gotten way more things than I've ever had before. So I have a whole pile of stuff over there I got to clean up.
Welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome to the club. You know how my place is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so back to the iPhone. What colors? I didn't see. What colors of the iPhones did you get? Because I know the iPhone 11 has the most colors, which I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that. Why does the smaller, cheaper one always have the most colors? Like, we should be getting more.
I've got this green, whatever this is, and
it's like an ocean blue.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I've got, of course, the midnight green, which is what everybody went with.
Yes, midnight green here as well. Also, I got a nice little shine coming off of my LED lights in front of me. But yeah, I'm a little bit more impressed with the design than I thought I would be. I think the general consensus among people like us right now is when we first saw the renders of the phone, we thought that looks ridiculous. Do you still feel that way, or
it's horrendous, man?
You don't think
it's crap? Let's be honest. Look. You're enamored by the matte finish and the matte finish over and the glass gloss over the camera. That's why.
Just the matte. I don't like the gloss. I hate the gloss.
Okay. So the matte finish is what is enamoring you. Design wise, this is a shitty design phone. Let's call it what it is. I mean, look, it's a tacked on experience. But let's be real. I was talking to a friend yesterday, showing him the phone, and he said, do you think this is the best way they could design the iPhone? I was like, no, this is the cheapest way to design the iPhone because it's the same body chassis, which means that even though you're using new materials, your molding builds are the same.
Yeah, that's true. This is the same. This is the third generation of this design, basically. Like, it's basically like having, I don't know, exactly. This is like Mark whatever it is, and then we're ready for a new Mark. Like, we need a new one.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same philosophy. So, I mean, Samsung does it, except I think Samsung has had a better design over iPhones for the longest time. So,
yeah, I mean, even then, I mean, I had to go through a lot of channels to get this, but the Red Note 10, this one's really hard to get. And like I said, it's funny because these are the hot phones right now. Is like there's this version of the Note 10 that you don't really get anywhere, and then the midnight green that everyone likes. So like these are going to be the two that I'm actually using. These are going to be my two pocketed phones, and I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited. Like I've never looked forward to using iOS in general. I'm looking forward to like actually having a phone that's accessible to me, has really dope cameras, like you said. Like, I don't know what your experience has been with them yet. I saw that slow feed that you put up like an hour ago.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really a slow feed. It was literally me holding the camera, my trainer boxing. I just did this like that. And iOS experience to me is still the same. There's nothing. I mean, like, so just so your viewers know, I'm going to do my, you know how people do the switch to iPhone video? I'm actually going to try and use it as, I won't say my main device because I just don't think I can. But I will use it as my first focus device. Like if I can't do anything, if I get stuck, then I'll switch over to my Android device. But I'll use it for a month. And when I do that video, said I switched to iOS, you can believe I actually tried, unlike everybody who does it every single time. It's
like 2 weeks and it's like, here's what I thought, that's it.
Because you're going to hear me talk about the software experience. I think the hardware experience, I'm happy with the camera. The thing I don't know if you like this or not. Low light experience, right? You've taken some low light photos, have you?
Not yet. I literally just unboxed this morning because, okay, so I said this in my video over on my channel, but this is what I said. I got the phone. I was really happy that I got it. The pickup was really smooth, and then on the way home, I got a check engine light on my car. So that took up the rest of my day. So this actually sat just on my home counter, and people were in my house going like, "Why aren't you using that?" And I'm like, "There's so much other stuff that I have to figure out right now." So this is actually my first time using the phone live on the podcast. So I'm actually giving some really like raw first impressions. Anyway,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. So I guess this is your first time. Low light photos are good. They really messed up by not having low light photography and the wide angle lens. I mean, it
Oh no,
is
night
just,
mode.
Sorry, low light, night mode. Sorry,
Yeah.
because there's no so night mode on the wide angle lens. It's terrible. It's absolutely bad to not have that. And I also don't like the fact that night mode is auto.
I was just about to say, I'm looking through the camera app right now, and there are a couple of interesting touches, like the fact that it'll fade in a little bit of that wide angle perspective if you want
Yeah.
to see what that kind of is like. I mean, that's kind of nifty, I guess. You can hold the shutter button to immediately start a video. Okay, that's all right for the IG stories generation. But yeah, you're right. I don't see anything about night mode whatsoever. This little icon just came up though.
So cover the camera. You see like a moon icon.
Yes, I
Yeah.
just saw that. Yeah.
So if you click on that icon, you can increase the exposure length from 3 seconds to 10. It's usually around 3 seconds
Okay.
to 10 seconds. I will say, just from my quick use yesterday, I tried a shot off my rooftop, and I increased it to 10 seconds because it's pretty dark up there. But the city lights are all on, and the image didn't change in quality from 3 to 10 seconds to me.
Oh, okay. Because it's still blending all of those pictures together, though. It's still multi-frame capture,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah, it's multi-frame capture. Yeah.
but yeah, here, let me see if I go here. Yeah, the moon goes away once you hit 0.5 perspective.
Effective,
So, it's there for the telephoto, which may or may not be true. It may not be the actual telephoto lens. It might be the main sensor cropped in.
yeah.
Because we know people do that from time to time. Have you tried any of these like video capabilities like Filmic Pro where you can like record with all the cameras at once?
No, I haven't. I mean, like, I did the gaming video yesterday. I was just taking some low light shots with it, and I'm editing my speaker test, which I'll drop tomorrow.
Okay.
Which I will say though, I'm really liking the way their speaker sounds this year.
I did do one team deathmatch, and I was pretty impressed with the sound coming out of the
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right on PUBG.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more robust, and I think it's the addition of spatial audio, not Dolby Atmos, because Samsung has Dolby Atmos as well.
Yes.
But it's also this spatial audio built in. I think adds more.
So you're talking about gaming. Where do you land on the gaming performance so far with this phone? Because it's always kind of weird because we're so used to seeing like the Snapdragon 855 Plus, those kinds of monikers and whatnot. And Apple doesn't talk too much about raw performance from Bionics.
Because they've lost the edge.
How
That's
so?
how I feel. I feel. Remember 3 years ago, right? You could clearly say that Android games could not run as well. Once PUBG and Fortnite made that cross-platform switch, and you look at the like 845s, 855, 855 Plus. When I say they lost the edge, it's really recently, between last year and this year. 855 and 855. 855 is a beast on its own. I mean, like, performance-wise, they look the same. 855 Plus on the ROG phone is phenomenal, especially how you can, and I think because, you can clock, you can make changes, within the clock speed per game. So you see games like PUBG run really smooth. And there are other games that, like Vainglory, which are intensive, but you won't necessarily see it on screen. You just see your frame rates at 60 frames per second, and that's pretty much it. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then the other half is that, you on certain Android phones, you've got 90 hertz displays, 120 hertz displays. So I don't really care for the 90 or 120 when it comes to visuals on the phone because it's a dull screen. I'm sorry. As good as the OnePlus displays and the ROG phone display, they're not bright. I think I like bright displays. I like AMOLED displays. So for me, on the day to day, it doesn't really benefit. But when you're playing PUBG on there, I mean, you can feel that thing slide. Like sometimes, especially in the ROG phone, I have to remind myself that I can't play the same way as I've been doing it in the last, year with my regular, phone. So
Yeah.
So
So how about the you mentioning about display on the iPhone? Well, all of them really. Like they all have the Super Retina XDR.
except the,
Not the 11.
I mean, 11 is a 1080p display. It's probably just Retina XDR.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So let's say on the Max then.
It's also
So,
LCD. Yeah.
yeah. So let's say on the the Max. Display performance on there. Like I know that a lot of people are probably going to still lament that notch at the top. I still don't like it. I never been a fan of the notch. I don't care how much better Face ID is this time around. It's still an eyesore to me. But obviously Apple, like there are a lot of people out there who say like, despite the fact that Android phones have quad HD resolution, there might be 90 hertz refresh rates, there might be Super AMOLED, OLED, all these things. There are a lot of people out there that still say that despite lacking some of those features, that Apple still
best
creates.
best display is a Samsung display. Case closed.
Okay, well,
I mean, I know where you're going with that. Is
yeah.
put it next to your Note display. Like look at both of them together.
I wish I could show the exact same. Yeah, maybe I should.
You can
do
put
that.
the same wallpaper on there. Look at it together, and you will see that Samsung just has that extra little crisp on top.
Well, that's the resolution thing, though, right? So obvious reason.
Yours is 1080p.
Yeah, this one is. That's true.
Yeah, but it's still. I can almost guarantee you still look sharper.
Let me see if I can open up an Instagram photo real quick. Okay, I'll do this as I ask you my next question. What is missing out of the 11 Pro Max that you really wish was there? Because I just did a video about what I felt like were the top 5 complaints with this phone. Do you have any that you wish were on here, despite we're both saying that we're kind of excited to try this phone out as a main, but what's missing? What do you really wish Apple finally did?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it from the Apple user perspective. I would say reverse wireless charging. You've moved people to AirPods, to wireless charger AirPods. You might as well, because they've bumped the battery this year. The battery is bigger. It's a 3900 hertz display in terms of the battery. 3900 milliamps roughly for the Max. So you've got almost the same size battery as you have in the Note or Huawei. I mean, Note is 4300. The P30 is 4200. This is about 4000. So you're in the big boy range, right?
Yeah.
So battery life is better. I mean, at least should be better. So I would like them to give me some of that. I want better software. I think iOS is not a good software anymore. I mean, the days where iOS was good was probably the first 5 years of iOS when Android was bad.
You are the customization dude. Like you just did some tweets about your wallpapers and whatnot, and your launchers.
No. True, but there's some dumb things in iOS. Again, we talked about camera.
Yeah, that's one.
You're giving people all these camera features. I don't want to go back to my settings to change some camera features. I want to be, the things you're giving me, give me access to the things you're giving me, right? That's what I want to see. They still haven't tackled the fact that, how Samsung tackled the fact that you don't have to reach the top of the screen. Some iOS apps still, I still have to go back by hitting the top.
Yeah, you're gonna go the real top left corner. And
I mean, I've got big hands, but it's just stupid when you say like Samsung created one UI that it drops down, so you have an easier path. So I'm just saying those are the kind of things that I want to see from iOS 14 or whatever. Oh, so display. What did you think? Images?
One thing I noticed, I need to look at my display settings, but just to make sure that they're at least somewhat comparable. But I'm looking at the same photo from my Instagram, and I noticed that the Note 10 is a little bit better with shadows. Like this one's more contrasty, for sure. Mm-hmm. And whether or not that means one is better than the other, I mean, I guess I could say I see more in the Note 10. And if I don't know, I'm not one of those people that's all about like deeper blacks and like really bright whites or anything like that.
Why are you wearing a black shirt, man?
Black shirt, this is gray. What you talking about?
I know, I'm just messing with you.
I don't know. Like between these two, I don't know. It's a little bit comparable, to be honest, but I admit that I can see more because it's not as contrasty on the Note 10, but the colors seem punched up here, which of course is enjoyable for a lot of people. And yeah, like the colors are more enjoyable here. I do think so on the Note 10.
Yeah, so. I mean, it to me was not even the colors. It's more the fact it's how sharp the Note 10 display is.
Oh yeah, I'm using a bad example with an Instagram photo. So
yeah, I'm just saying that's a 1080p photo. I mean display. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Note 10 Plus that is a 2K display that can be 1080p in terms of you dropping the settings.
Yeah.
But when you put an image, if you try putting the same wallpaper on both, and you look at them and you go, I can't tell the difference, right? That's how, to me, that's the testament of what Samsung does on their displays themselves, which is why a lot of people, when they said it, when you get your Note 10 Plus, it's at 1080p.
Yeah, that's true.
And you won't notice the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very true. All right, so let me see. I was trying to think of like any last points that I wanted to make with this. I know that for me personally, I would love if Apple would actually go all in on the USB-C finally. It would be great because literally there's one cable on all of my power bricks that is different from the rest, and it's become annoying, and it's a lightning cable. I guess really my one qualm, at least as far as hardware is concerned. But thank God there is a a fast charger in the box this time, so could actually charge it up a little bit faster. It is a bigger battery, like you said. 4,000 is about the average at this point. But yeah, I mean, we're both going to have a lot of content on the iPhone coming up. But there is another phone that made a big splash this past week. And I obviously wasn't there, so I can't really say too much about like the actual experience of using the Huawei Mate 30 and the Mate 30 Pro.
Okay.
So there's a lot to unpack here, and as usual when I start off new segments on the show, I have a question that I like sort of jump off from. So here's the main question. Can Huawei survive without Google?
Yeah.
Do you honestly think? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be really painful because like these phones don't come with Google services whatsoever.
It's not that they don't come with Google services. From what I've heard is that you can't, even if you sideload Google services, they don't work because they are actively blocked.
Yes.
That's the issue. Mm-hmm. And because of something recently with Google and Huawei, not necessarily the US government ban. I'm not sure about the details. I have heard that sideloading your other apps, Twitter, Instagram, that kind of stuff will work. Mm-hmm. It's Google services is the main queue. Now, here's the thing. In China, that's fine. Where do they sell the bulk of this stuff? It's in China. They're going to lose out in Europe because they're having issues with that. If they can find a way to do something or they unlock that bootloader, then
so
it becomes a really different case entirely.
That is the rub, isn't it? Because I was looking at some articles about Huawei's announcement, and this one from my old stomping grounds over at Android Authority. Basically, we're saying that obviously the ban means that Huawei can't use Google Apps. Oops, sorry. I should hit that silence toggle on my phone. Apologies. Oh, there's everywhere. Oh my God, everyone's trying to message me. Sorry. The alternative is Huawei's App Gallery, which, I mean, let's be real. None of us have ever opened the App Gallery in the years that we have used Huawei phones.
Yeah, I did open up the App Gallery on the P30. I mean, it's not usable at this time. In terms of the apps that just don't translate, other than TikTok. That is available, and it's pretty big over there. And I understand it, and people want to write it off. So I heard from a lot of people yesterday, they're like, oh, my audience doesn't care, this and that. And a lot of influencers that I know said that, right? Mm-hmm. The thing here is that Huawei can survive. Like I said, it will be brutal.
Okay.
They're gonna drop down market share to maybe a number 4 because of this. But if they are successful in putting money behind developers to bring in application, and if they open up that bootloader, here's the thing: they can scale that the phone side of the business is not making the most money. this could be remedied, if everything sorts out on the governmental side of things, and probably they will. That $1 billion to me from them is the stopgap they're trying to do to say, hey, let's do this, so that we have something in place while this gets sorted out, right? Mm-hmm. And it may not come to fruition, or it may come to some fruition, right? Where Harmony OS comes to birth. Harmony OS is showcased on their phones, TVs, and other accessories that they can sell. They can buy people into that ecosystem. Not in the West, remember, not here.
Yeah.
If they seal off China with that, then that is now at least 100 million Android users that are gone.
Yeah.
Like that.
Out of there. And you were mentioning earlier that if they unlock the bootloader, and what was the other thing that you were saying? They put all the money behind developers and whatnot. That's literally what they're doing. Like, it wasn't that part of the announcement, is that they're going to actually entice people to come and open up to their ecosystem for their apps. And also, the bootloaders they are going to have them more unlocked on Mate 30 phones. So,
if it's unlocked, then you can have anything on it at that point.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot more people going to our partner site, XDA Developers. So that should be really interesting.
You will have something running in about a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So how about the phone itself? Because I mean, we're getting to the point now. I just got back from Shanghai looking at a circular camera module on the Vivo. So that's the Vivo Nex 3 5G. Mm-hmm. Now we have another one here with the Mate 30 Pro, and this sounds like, I don't know, like we're talking about the iPhone and how the cameras are actually really impressive and whatnot. Here comes Huawei with some craziness in their cameras. 240 megapixel cameras.
Okay, Huawei went boss on this. First of all, design-wise, perfect. I mean, you're getting more and more sensors. You have to do it. Not this afterthought that Apple did because they want to basically be cheap. They went with a whole new chassis. They had to. And it shows. You have two 40 megapixel sensors. One is the regular, one is the ultra wide, right? And then you can do slow-mo at 7,680 frames per second.
Who's going to use that? What's the point of that mode? Like other than the slow-mo guys on YouTube, like who would use that mode? What would you use that for?
Oh no, it's scalable. It can go up to 7,000. It's got a few other notches down.
Yeah, sure.
So you can use it for anything you want, just like flies or whatever. It's the same thing, except at least they're giving you a broad range. If you shoot outdoors and you want to catch something outdoors, if you're shooting an action, I mean, think about people who now make films on their phones. Mm-hmm. If the video is going to be better on their phones, now you can add some slow-mo in there. That's really, that punch coming in really slow, speed it up, bring it back and forth, and then you go a long way. So you've got a whole range that you can actually play with that is not there. Again, if their general video is really good, then it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, fair enough. So 40 megapixels on it. What I find so interesting is that they call it the ultra-wide cine camera. It's made specifically, I don't know about specifically, but it's made
for video. Really
with video in mind. Yeah, exactly. So that's an 18 millimeter. That's really wide. You still have I love that it's 40, and then 8 megapixel for a telephoto. Like, it is what it is. And then, of course, hybrid zooming for up to 45 times the range. There's a lot to this camera. And I mean, as we know from Huawei, we've used a lot of Huawei phones in the past. All modes for all lenses. That's exactly what the iPhone has failed to do, at least in this generation.
Yeah. I mean, and I think we see that quite clearly, and it's going to be actually pretty cool with this device. The other thing, too, is that it's got reverse wireless charging. It's now 3 times faster. Nobody did it. No, they mentioned. Yeah, I saw the image. It said 3x faster.
Huh.
I just want to check it out just to see, is it, because the Galaxy Note 10 and S10 reverse wireless charging is faster than just regular wireless charging of the iPhone. If this is 3 times faster than what the Galaxy was, or at least than what the Huawei was, which means it's going to be 2 times. Wireless charging is 27 watts.
27? Mm-hmm. Whoa. I didn't even
that
reach
is
that part when I was looking at these specs.
that is faster than the iPhone charging.
It is.
What with this fast
Wired.
charger?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's also faster. Technically, should be faster than the Note 10 charging as well with its regular 25 watt. We'll have to wait and see. So I mean, again, they throw in the kitchen sink and a whole box of fruits in there as well.
Indeed. Speaking of the kitchen and fruits, this is the worst segue ever. There's vegan leather with the phones now. Kind of a throwback to some old LG days where we used to have leather backings on certain phones.
Yeah.
Those look really dope. I would love that orange version. But like, okay, so we're so used to not having Huawei phones here in the US. But even more so, there's like a big blow to this whole thing because of the loss of Google services and whatnot. So is this going to be like that phone envy device that by the end of the year we're all going to be wishing, like we wish, look, all this wasted potential, not in the US. There's obvious problems.
No, I think this is giving Google something. And Google is happy. And, to me, this is where I think, the ban wasn't going to stop Google from sideloading apps. Mm-hmm. Google's issue with Huawei stopped that. Get it right. So the ban meant you couldn't have Google apps on there.
Yes.
But you could sideload it.
Of course,
and then again, Google said there was some issue they had with Huawei. Why do that now?
Why do what now?
When Google made the announcement like 2 or 3 weeks ago that, hey, look, they have some issues with Huawei, so we're not sure if their services can be on there, right? What's Google launching on the 15th?
Oh, okay, yeah. They have the Pixel coming out.
Yeah, I mean, you effectively take out Huawei. You've got now a company that can push into a number 3 spot because there's nobody else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Pixel doesn't really have a global reach, though. Like, it's going to be really tough for them to actually hit that third mark or that third place.
Well, at least if they get number 3 here in the US, and then they can move up.
Okay, fair. Like,
I guarantee you this: you can, after 15th, you can probably sideload on the Huawei device. After the launch of the Pixel, I am betting after the launch of the Pixel, you'll be able to sideload.
Okay. They'll be like, all right, we got our device out. Let's chill. Something like that. All right, cool. Well, just some thoughts on the iPhone and the Mate 30 Pro. Obviously, those are the main phones that came out very recently. I want to ask if there are any final thoughts that you wanted to share, anything you want to plug before we call it on this episode?
Stay tuned. Just check out the channel. Check out Speaker Test tomorrow on Sunday. I don't know when this is you're putting this up. But if you're watching this the next week that the iPhone launched, I have a ton of content. A lot of it that I can't tell you about. A lot of stuff that he doesn't even know about. That I have to put up. So
yeah, I'm catching up.
Go check it out.
I'm catching up. So I'm doing my thing. And you know what? Honestly, next week or 2, gonna be all about this. All right, I'm in. I'm actually in this time. I was very not last year, but I'm in this year. In any case, make sure you follow Pocketnow for all of the best, including more episodes of the Pocketnow podcast here on YouTube or on wherever you listen to your podcast. You can follow myself and Thunder E over there by following the links in the description down below. With all that said, make sure you hit up the description or the show notes for all of our pertinent links, and from there, we're going to call it on this one, and we'll see you in our next episode.
Bye.